In this video, we're going to review the features of the Inventory module. From the main screen, we select Inventory, and that will give us our Inventory Center. All our inventory items are kept here, and we have the ability to hide items by saying that we want to make an item inactive. If I select the Show Inactive only, you'll see I have an item here that is inactive, and it won't show up on the screen. However, inactive items can be sold. So let's start with the features. The first is, of course, the primary SKU. It can only have one unique SKU per item. Going down on the tabs across the bottom in the general, it tells us there is currently no promotions running at this time. Here we have subcategories. This is the ability for us to have a department. Within the department we have a category, and within the category we have a subcategory. And as you can see here, I have department merchandise, category steamer, convection, and then a subcategory. I also show locations of where these items are kept and how many are kept in that location. In this area here is where we keep our auto quote spec, and this can be printed on the invoice so it looks just like an auto quote proposal, or we could have a shorter 30-character description. Down on our filter, we're hiding alternate SKUs, and alternate SKUs are like UPC codes. Matrix, those are things like aprons with different sizes and colors that we sell under one parent item, and then the children are the actual different colors and sizes. Down below here, these little boxes, this is where we set up our promos. If you click the promo, you'll see that we have a promo coming up. And if I click the edit button, you'll see the different sell prices and what kind of discounts I'm doing during this promo period that you're looking at here. Coupons, if you want to have coupons that you want to issue in the newspapers or give them to customers, that'll give them percentage off, or maybe one free item with a purchase of 2 other items. That could involve our mix and match. Mix and match gives us the ability to sell 2 spatulas and a knife as a package, and then the knife would be free if it's the least cost of the other 2 items. Global price change gives us the ability to change prices based off cost or margins. And we could utilize our individual categories to set our percentages for our markups. Manufacturers list individual manufacturers that we want to keep track of when we're buying items from distributors rather than directly from the manufacturers. Matrix definitions just allows us to set up those aprons and hats and things that are just different colors but basically the same item. Cost verifier just lets you see individual costs and prices. Physical inventory allows us to show all our inventory and what we currently have in stock. And then we have the ability from reconcile from file. We can use what's called a direct scan inventory, which allows us to take a laptop around the store or a tablet with a scanner and scan the SKU or the UPC code and do our physical counts. Those will then be updated. We can also take and create a spreadsheet by clicking Add, and in our spreadsheet there will be all the different SKUs, descriptions, stock counts, locations, and that will import into our inventory. Serial numbers. This keeps track of all the serial numbers that we've sold in our system for all the different items, what our cost is, and you'll notice all these serial items are in stock. I use the same serial number over and over again for many of these items, so that's why you're seeing what you're seeing. Used items are items we take in on trade and then turn around and sell them after we clean them up and give them a reduced sell price. They can be selected at the time we're selling a new item. If a customer can't afford a brand new reach-in, then we have a used one that we can offer him. Here's where we move things out of one department category into another by making these changes. And last is the department manager, which you could see we have all these items that are under each individual department. These particular came in all under the auto quote imports. And if you're searching for something like a bar caddy and you select it, that's how you could find it quickly. But you can modify that department categories from this box here. On details, we have our 30-character description, our primary SKU, our long description, which is 50-some characters. This is the last cost we paid for this item, and this is the actual last cost. When you're using the ability to use landed cost, this number will be higher because it's included the freight in the cost. Here's our individual pricing based on our margins, or you can use markups. Here's where we sell by the each and purchase by the each. Our minimum stock is 1, our maximum is 3. These are annual min-maxes. We do have seasonal min-maxes. Units per order is 1. If I were ordering a case of china and inside the case were 3 boxes of 12 each, I would say that my sell by would be the box, the purchase by would be the case, and my units per order would be 3. And then what is the minimum order that our vendor will allow us to order at one time? 0 means there is no minimum. Over on the other side of the screen here, we have who our primary vendor is and their vendor SKU, who the manufacturer is, and what the weight is. Options, as you can see, they're grayed out because we're not currently editing it, but we are tracking stock and serial numbers. We're saying to ask for price, ask for quantity when we're selling it on the screen. And then we have, we're not posting this to the internet, but if we were using e-commerce, we would post it to the internet. We are saying the item is active and we're allowing discounts. And we want a prompt for description, and you'll see that when we actually do a sale. It will allow us to override the description right there at the sales screen. And here's where we have our label printing. What kind of label does this item get when it's received in the warehouse? Prompt rate scale is for items that we're going to weigh and we sell by the weight, and allowing food stamps. Defaults, we typically sell 1 per customer. Our commission is a 2% commission. We could have a fixed commission dollar amount if we wish. We could have a warranty set up So if we select that, that'll give us the ability to do parts and labor and for how long of a period. And of course, we talked about before the mix and match of multiple items being grouped together for a promo or a special quantity discount. And then here's where we can change our taxing to have it be a different non-tax or taxable for items that are like tax or non-tax. Stock Manager. This gives us, under current stock, tells us we have 3 of these items with a cost of $36,000. Here are the 3 serial numbers that are currently in stock. We can see all the items that were sold and in stock here. And it shows us what was sold, what is currently in stock. We can change statuses. By changing the status, it gives us the ability, when we drop ship a product, we have the ability to, after the fact, add the serial number of the item that was drop shipped. So we'll just go in and put in that it was sold and that this was the order number it was sold on, who is the customer that bought it, and that gives us the ability to keep track of serial numbers of dropship items. Merge allows us to merge items together. If one of the employees accidentally created a new item when there was an item already in the system, we could merge those items together and all the history for those items would be merged into one item. Stats tells us here we have 2,900 items in inventory, and one of them are set up to be inactive. Verify inventory. When you run this, it'll go through and verify the stock levels based on purchase orders and sales and put correct quantities on hand. And here is a list of items that we deleted, but we didn't purge yet. And some customers will delete items and not sell them through the winter months and then reactivate them again when the climate is warmer and the snow cone machines are in demand. So those were those 3 boxes. Let's look at this next tab, Transaction Log. This is everything that's ever happened to that item from the beginning of using our system. And it keeps track of when things are shipped, if they're drop shipped, and where they were drop shipped from, the purchase orders. All the information and who they were sold to is all kept into this transaction log. Stock location allows us to have multiple locations, and if we sell something out of a specific location, then that location will be reduced by 1 item. Links are the ability for you to link items when the sale comes up. We have a links item manager, and we could suggest accessories. We can do tag-alongs, or we can suggest a similar item if we're out of stock on that item. Seasonal levels, that gives us the ability to do min-maxes on certain periods of time. I've got one for winter from the 11th month in start date to end month, and this is a deviation of our annual min-maxes we use. And break apart, this allows us to take that case that we had, that we brought in and we're inventorying it as a box. Yet if a customer needs 6 of those plates in that box, we could break a box apart, take 1 box out of inventory and put 12 eaches of those plates in inventory. SKU Manager. This is where we put our primary SKU with the little star there, and this is where the alternate SKUs go, such as UPC codes or other numbers or names that we want to use to be able to look up items that always point to the primary SKU. Here's a list of vendors that we can buy from. Your unlimited amount of vendors, but in this case Cleveland Range is the primary vendor. This will also tell you if you have any purchase orders in process for that vendor. Price breaks. This is where we set up quantities. You sell this quantity and it could be a reduced price. And it'll ask us what price we want to sell it for. If you buy 3, we'll reduce the price for you. Promos we talked about before. This is a promo that's going to kick on, and we look at that. It's going to start at this date and end at this date. Notes. As you can see here, we have our standard note. We have extended note that can print on your invoice. We have a purchase order note. And we have an internal note that this is the only spot that's at. But if there's problems with product coming from this manufacturer, on this item we could put notes in here so when we meet with them and discuss pricing, we could talk about issues that we've had in the past. Activity, this will show all the purchase order activity. Here would be customers that currently have orders for this item, and sales history, showing us the invoice number and the pricing, the costs, our profit, and our profit margins. Many of these boxes here allow us to, if you click this item here and say details, you'll see more information about what this particular item has been, what kind of revenue we had on it, kind of profit, etc. We can also view the invoice, where we sold it, and as you can see we have the serial number there. Picture Manager allows us to add pictures to the items and giving us the ability to show that on the screen, either customer display or let the employee see it so he makes sure he's ringing up the right item. Documents, very powerful. You can add documents to every item and they can be seen at the sales screen and printed for the customer. Here's an installation manual, a buyer's guide, a operator's manual. So if you click that, just say view document, you'll be able to see the manuals without having to dig through file drawers looking for them. We even have the ability to do videos. And if you run the video, this will give you...
Hey everybody, my name's Joe. I want to talk to you about the Steam Chef model of steamers. They are a batch cooker because they make steam inside the compartment themselves.
It can be big,
they're generatorless and boilerless. They're also our Energy Star brand. At the bottom here, you've got your power on and off switch, so you just turn this handle up to turn it on.
It gives us the ability to show that on the screen, on the customer display, if you don't stock the item, but you want to have a video showing them how it works. So that takes care of all our documents. Let's go up top here now to the user-definable fields. We can create unlimited amount of user-definable fields and do searches by category, cut sheet, and pack by, and this gives you information we can locate on either the SKU or the description. Doing this drill down with the binoculars gives us the ability to do searches on item numbers, descriptions, long descriptions, departments, or manufacturer numbers. We also can hide the alternate SKUs such as the UPC codes so we only see the primary SKUs. We can also do searches on our subcategories. This panel here on the right side kind of gives us information without having to go to other screens. As you can see here, we've got the UDF fields, we have what's available in stock, and who's the primary vendor. Some of the options here shows us our pricing, and if the item's active, and we're tracking stock. So without having to go to the masters and stuff, we get to see these panels, and they'll show up in our sales screens and our inquiry screens. So this covers the ability to review and look at all the items in inventory. As I say, if you're looking to do a search and you select this little guy right here, and you're only looking for air freshener dispensers, and you select that, that would be the only thing you would find. I have categories where I don't have items for them, so that's why nothing showed up on that one. But if I do a let's try a serving rack. So a serving rack came up immediately, looking for that item and what we have in stock. That concludes our inventory review for the positive for restaurant equipment. Thank you.